When we delve into British history, we must first chat about the three major barbarian tribes of the Roman era: the Germanic tribes, the Celts, and the Slavs. Today, we're focusing on the Celts, the folks who called Western Europe their home. The Celts originally spread across Central and Western Europe, living in tribes and never really forming a unified nation. However, they had some decent fighting skills, thanks to their iron-working abilities, which allowed them to craft iron weapons. This made them a formidable force against the native inhabitants who were still wielding bronze. From around 700 BC to 500 BC, the Celts brought their iron gear to the British Isles, easily defeated the natives, and became the new landlords. The natives either got killed or blended into the Celtic tribes. While the Celts were pretty good at dealing with the locals, they struggled against the Germanic tribes and the Romans. In the early days of Rome, the Romans outmatched the Germans, who in turn outmatched the Celts, leaving the Celts as the underdogs. In 59 BC, Caesar conquered Gaul and pushed the Gauls over to Britain. Then Caesar took his troops to the island and thrashed the Celts, leaving them in a sorry state. The Roman conquest of Britain was long and arduous. In 55 BC, Caesar first landed in Britain, but had to retreat due to heavy losses from storms. The following year, he came back with a larger force, and the Celts had no choice but to surrender. For the next 90 years or so, the Romans stayed away from Britain until Emperor Claudius decided he needed some military glory in AD 43 and sent troops to conquer Britain again. The Celts, once more, were no match and quickly capitulated. After conquering Britain, the Romans established Londinium, today's financial hub, on the banks of the Thames. During this period, Britain gradually Romanized, with Latin becoming the official language. However, Scotland and Ireland remained unconquered due to their remote locations. The Scots frequently raided southwards, annoying the Romans to the point where they built Hadrian's Wall to keep them out. Roman rule in Britain lasted over 300 years. As the Roman Empire declined, they pulled out of Britain in AD 407, recalling their legions back to defend the homeland. Without Roman protection, the Britons started fighting amongst themselves. The Celtic Scots invaded the south, and the southern Celts, unable to fend them off, hired Germanic mercenaries for help. The term Germans was a Roman catch-all for the barbarian tribes north of the Rhine, including the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes. These fair-haired, blue-eyed folks lived in simple wooden and thatched houses, leading a life of fishing, hunting, and pastoralism. Upon arriving in Britain, the Germanic tribes quickly realized it was easier to conquer their employers than the enemy. Thus they started claiming territory for themselves. In AD 449, the first batch of Anglo-Saxon mercenaries landed in Britain to help the southern Celts fight the northern Celts. However, they soon turned on their employers, attacking the Celts and seizing southern Britain, establishing the rule of the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes. The Germanic tribes set up several small kingdoms in England and squabbled amongst themselves for the next 400 years. This period gave rise to two famous tales. One is the legendary story of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, passed down by the Celts. The other is the Heptarchy, the 7 kingdoms established by the Germanic tribes in England. The Anglo-Saxons, after taking over England, looked down on the Celts, primarily because of their red hair, as opposed to the Anglo-Saxons' blonde locks. Consequently, they attributed several negative stereotypes to redheads, like being overly lustful hot-tempered and barbaric, which unfairly stuck to the Celts. The Celts fled to Wales and Scotland, where they set up small kingdoms but were eventually subdued by the Anglo-Saxons. When the Welsh first submitted to the Anglo-Saxons, they demanded to be governed by a prince born in Wales. The English king, in a shrewd move, had the Queen give birth to a prince in Wales, creating the first Prince of Wales, a title that persists to this day. In summary, the history of England, from the Celts to the Romans to the Germanic tribes, is a tale filled with wars and conquests, shaping the British culture and social structure we know today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Your support helps us bring more exciting stories to life. See you in the next episode.